Ho ho ho! 'Tis the season, my friends, and I got 10 holiday gift ideas for you or a loved one. Stay tuned. What's going on, guys? For those of you who are new here, my name is Kevin Jabal. Now, number one on this ultimate holiday gift guide is gonna be items to optimize your everyday tasks. Now, decreasing the friction of everyday, very simple tasks that aren't a big deal, like vacuuming or lights, stuff like that. It's kind of a luxury and it feels really good. It's nice and it's totally reasonable and affordable. So one item is definitely a smart vacuum. iRobot is the most popular one. I have a couple Shark IQ vacuums myself. Number two is an Instant Pot, which I love for a few reasons. First of all, you don't have that much to clean up because everything is just in one cooking vessel. Number two, it has a pressure function, so you can cook meals really quick even if you decide last minute that you want to cook something. And number three is a smart speaker. I like Apple HomePod Mini because I'm totally deep in the Apple ecosystem and they prioritize privacy more so than the other alternatives. And then it also acts as a hub where you can control your smart home, your lights, your thermostat, your locks, things like that. Number two is a starter tea set. And as you guys know, I'm very biased. I like tea. I tend to go like 0 or 100. So actually back when I was in medical school, I got a French press, a coffee grinder, a hand coffee grinder, and some coffee beans as a gift. Of course, I went 0 to 100, so I went all out, was obsessed about the temperature and like making the best quality coffee. And it tasted really good, just straight black coffee. But then I got jittery, I was using the bathroom a lot, and I ultimately decided that coffee is probably not a good thing for someone that has IBD. Enter tea. So tea, lower level of caffeine, but it also has L-theanine. So the combination of caffeine with L-theanine gives you this really calm, focused state, which I would argue is better for productivity and getting things done compared to coffee, because that straight caffeine will leave you wired and jittery, and that's not so good for getting things done. Yo, so this is pretty funny. My content assistant has all this research here that shows the health benefits of tea, which is legit, right? The heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, etc. Which is totally us just cherry picking because you can say the same thing about coffee, but we'll go with that too. It's healthy, right? But most importantly, I think it makes you feel good and it tastes good. Simple as that. The reason most people don't like tea is that they have low quality tea. They have that nonsense in tea bags that not only introduces plastics and harmful chemicals into the tea that you drink, but also just tastes nasty. If you haven't already, check out this introduction video on tea. But to boil it down, no pun intended, you need three main things. Number one is good quality loose leaf tea. Again, no tea bags. Number two is a smart kettle because you want to set the temperature more precisely. You can't theoretically just boil water and then wait like 30 seconds versus 60 seconds to let it cool to the proper temperature that you want. But it's just easier to set 195 on a digital display and hit a button, right? And number three is a teapot. There are other vessel types depending on the type of tea you want to do, but just as an introduction, I think this is the easiest way to get into it. And I have my favorites, the one that I actually use, down in the description. Number three is plants. For real, bro? We're doing plants? I thought that was a joke. I know what you're thinking. Plants as a gift? Really? Hear me out. Plants, both real and fake, have been demonstrated to reduce both physiological as well as psychological stress. So they don't just look good, right? But they also serve a function. And I can tell that you already feel so much more calm and zen because of my fake plants in the frame right now. Now there is a wide variety of plants out there and I know nothing about them. I've never even owned succulents because I'm so afraid of maintenance. I can barely hydrate myself. How am I gonna keep a plant watered and hydrated too? But what I can say is real plants, they look nicer. They're nicer to the touch, but how often are you really touching plants? And some people say that real plants will clean the air in your living space by converting, obviously, carbon dioxide to oxygen. But for that to have any impact on your air quality, you'd have to have a straight up jungle in your apartment. All right, fake plants, they still look nice, usually not as nice as the real thing, but if you get higher quality ones, they can't fool you. They are not attractive to bugs, which real plants can be, and of course, low maintenance, my favorite. Number four is a water bottle. Yeah, I know we're getting pretty creative with our gift ideas, but I actually got a gift as a water bottle, it was like 2 years ago, and I really liked it. It was awesome actually. So I used to do plastic water bottles and I was like, hey, if it's BPA free, I'm good. But it turns out that even BPA free plastic, it's mostly for marketing, it can still leach other chemicals into the water. So I no longer mess with that, now I do metal. This is my go-to vessel of choice, Takea 40 ounce. So refreshing. So things to look for in a good water bottle. Number one, large capacity. Those small water bottles you have to keep refilling, so annoying. Number two, insulated so you can keep your water cool. And then number three, a mouthpiece that is fully covered. I learned the hard way how important that is. Or if it has a lip here and your mouth actually touches the outside of the container, that's also not sanitary. Yeah, I definitely care a little bit too much about water bottles. Number five is books. And if the person you're buying for tends to read only fiction or they tend to read only nonfiction, maybe consider switching it up and get them something from the other category. So I almost exclusively read nonfiction, and then I read a couple books that were fiction. One was How to Get Filthy Rich in Rising Asia, and one was the first book in the John Rain series. And oh my God, those were just, I got through those books in a couple days. It was so hard to put down. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Now in the nonfiction category, a couple of my favorites would be Almanac of Naval Ravikant, Psychology of Money, and What I Wish I Knew When I Was 20 by Tina Seelig. Again, links to all these items down below. And if they already are an avid reader, then get them a Kindle. The Paperwhite is all you need. I have an Oasis here, which, if I'm being honest, is probably not worth the price premium over the regular Paperwhite. But this is for real, one of my favorite purchases. It incentivizes and reduces the friction of reading, and then if I get bored of one book, I can switch to another book, and it's so pleasant. I can read at night because it has the backlight and the color temperature, and it's just awesome. I definitely recommend one. All right, these next few items are a little bit pricier. They're all over $100, but if that is within your budget, then they're definitely pretty awesome. So number 6, items to help optimize fitness. The first of which I'm gonna say is a sit-stand desk. I was using just a standing desk for too long. I wish I got the motion of a motorized sit-stand desk. It went for like $250 on Amazon. I bought the base, attached it to an IKEA tabletop just like this one, and I was in business. So I did a video on Med School Insiders exploring the scientific research of sit-stand desks. Now, to summarize things, the worst is just using a sitting desk all the time. Something better is to use a standing desk, ideally a sit-stand desk. And the reason being is that motion is more important than any static posture that you're maintaining. So theoretically, standing for too long is bad, but it's also really hard to stand for a long period of time. You tend to want to shift and move your weight and move around. So yeah, motorized sit-stand desk for the win. Next up is a desk bike or a treadmill desk, which I personally never use, but Sean Anderson swears by this, and I think it's pretty hilarious. There's some research that at a lower intensity, these don't actually interfere with your cognitive ability. Again, I haven't tried it myself personally, but Sean's really happy with his Exerpeutic Extra Work desk bike, which you can find linked below. Number 7 is this thing, an Oura Ring. Now, the Oura Ring has historically been best as a sleep tracker. It tracks various metrics that are important for sleep and recovery, including resting heart rate, HRV, your respiratory rate, body temperature, things like that. And it's not just absolute values, but it even shows you trends. So you can see that, oh wow, when I have 2 drinks, I sleep like crap. I shouldn't be doing that as often. Or wow, sleep deprivation really affects my HRV. And it can allow you to dial and tweak things as necessary. So this has definitely helped me a lot in terms of being accountable with my sleep. And as we know, sleep is just one of those core pillars for so many things in life. They came out with the Oura Ring 3, which I'm testing out right now. I'll be making a video comparing Oura Ring 2 to 3. The 3 is trying to be more of an activity tracker so that you wear it throughout the day, steps, heart rate, things like that. But if you or someone you care about is into the whole health optimization, health tracking, activity tracking, that kind of thing, they'll probably like an Oura Ring. Number 8 is a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM. And I'm not wearing one, I'm wearing 2 right now. So one right there, and one right there. Sorry, I'm too lazy to take off my sweater. But I'm essentially comparing 2 different CGM offerings right now. I'll be making a video on that soon, so make sure you're subscribed. But CGMs, they essentially measure your blood sugar continuously, and historically they've been used primarily just for diabetic patients, right? Makes sense. But now there are companies that are bringing this glucose tracking technology to the masses. And one study actually showed that 88% of Americans have metabolic dysfunction. It's a spectrum, right? You don't just go from being healthy to then boom, oh my God, I have poor metabolic function and I have diabetes. There's a spectrum. So how can you slow that progression, or ideally even reverse it? I've been wearing CGMs on and off for several months now, and I've noticed a lot of changes. I am held accountable. I have the real-time feedback loop. I'm now getting a lot more insights as to what I specifically react well and poor to, because everyone's different. The glycemic index is a generalization, not necessarily individual specific. And I actually have a lot more reasons as to why CGMs are awesome and why you should look into them, linked here. Number 9 is to not buy them a material gift, but rather give them an experience. Experiences tend to be underrated, right? We tend to go for material goods, but experiences, they can generate memories that are gonna last a lifetime, especially if you're doing that experience with that person. When you look back on your life and you have those fond memories, it's not about things usually. It's usually about people and experiences that you were having with them. And you tend to have more prolonged excitement because you're first getting the gift of knowing that you're gonna go on an experience, and then there's anticipation that's building up until the experience, and then the experience happens, and you're like, this is awesome, and you take photos and videos and whatnot. So you have this really prolonged, elevated state. Whereas with a material possession, you get it, you're like, yay.
Yippee.
And then it's almost like a rapid cliff, a rapid depreciation of excitement. And there are a lot of examples here. You can do skydiving, whether outdoor or indoor, escape room, rock climbing, concerts, some classes like yoga or pottery, doing a trip, doing a road trip, doing a cruise. And for someone who likes cars, maybe a track day. And that brings us to number 10, which is to get them something related to one of their hobbies. A lot of my favorite gifts of the past were related to one of my hobbies. Like with cycling, it can be a bike computer or bib shorts or a power meter. And when it comes to bib shorts, getting a quality pair of bib shorts makes a huge difference. I was riding these cheap ones for years, and then when I upgraded it, because it essentially serves as both your shorts and your underwear, oh my God, never going back. That would be a good gift for someone that's into cycling. If they're getting into cooking, maybe you want to buy them some really good cookware. Or if someone's a gearhead, then maybe you want to get them a drift course, drift instruction, or another driving course at the racetrack. Those gifts are always going to be much more significant than just buying the hottest new tech gadget that's going to go out of style in 1 year anyway. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Happy holidays, much love. See you in the next one.
Ho, 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 ho.